Hi, I'm Caroline Leavitt, and I'm delighted to tell you that four of my backlist are coming out August 5th from Dzanc Books reprint series and Open Road Media. And I wanted to tell you some fun and not so fun facts about each of them. The first book in the series is Meeting Rosie Halfway. I know the book, the cover is backwards, but just try to imagine it. Meeting Rosie Halfway is about two sisters growing up in Boston, one of whom slowly begins to go mad, and it falls to the younger sister to take care of her. Now, I never intended to be a novelist. It started out as a short story that won first prize in Redbook's Young Writers Contest. And suddenly there were all these publishers calling me saying, is this a novel? We want it, we want it, we want it. And my agent said, that's your novel. And I said, I don't want to write a novel. She said, yes, you do, and I'll help you. And she did, and it was really hard. So the book, before the book even came out, there was all this buzz around it. And there was also a lawsuit. My main characters were called Ben, B, and Rosie Nelson. The people suing me were called Ben, B, and Rosie Neiman. And their daughter Rosie was also struggling with mental illness. So the publisher called me in and there were all these kinds of questions like, are you sure you don't know these people? Are you sure that you didn't hear their story? And I kept saying, no, 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 no. But they were going to suppress the book, these people with a lawsuit. So we had a compromise. And in the end, in the UK version, I had to change the name of B and Ben to Lee and Len. And I still can't look at the version. So Rosie did so incredibly well. Washington Post compared me to ordinary people. The Houston Chronicle thought it was moving and haunted the mind. The New York Times said I had a nice wry specificity. So they bought my second novel, which was called Lifelines. Lifelines is about a woman who may or may not be psychic and the impact it has on her teenage daughter. Lifelines was called an extraordinary novel by Publishers Weekly and given a star. It also got a star from the notoriously cranky Kirkus, which was great. And the Washington Post said I had found my territory, which was writing about family. So I was all excited about that until the publisher went out of business. And I didn't know what to do. So my agent found me a new publisher, a literary house called Arbor House. And I was really happy about that. And they published this book called Family. Family is about Nick Austin, an orphan, who ends up with two families and about what happens when his teenage daughter finds out. Family got great reviews from the Boston Globe, who said it was a good read and a fun novel. Kirkus also gave it a star and said it was an appealing tale about family. And the Atlanta Journal-Constitution said that Miss Leavitt makes it impossible not to be involved with her characters, which I thought was cool. So guess what happened? 2 weeks before the book was due to come out, the sales force left, and then the editorial left, and then the whole publishing house closed down. I was desperate. I told my agent, you know what, you have to find me a publishing house that is not going to go out of business. So she did. She found me Warner Books, which is now Grand Central, and I published this novel, Into Thin Air. Into Thin Air is about a young woman who leaves the hospital hours after giving birth to her baby. She abandons her husband, and years later she goes back and creates havoc. Into Thin Air was one of Library Journal's hidden gems of the year. The Baltimore Sun said I had fresh and vivid language. I was compared to Ann Tyler and James Smiley, and I had a movie option. Now, I wanted to have some control, so when the producer called me, I told him, I'd like to write the script. And he said, oh, have you written scripts before? And I said, of course, many, many, many. I never had. So he said, good, send me one overnight. I panicked. I hung up the phone. I ran to the nearest bookstore. I got every book I could find on screenwriting. Stayed up until 6 in the morning writing this. All I came out with was the first act. But that was okay. I sent it to him anyway, and he called me up and said, this is terrible. Are you sure you know how to write scripts? And I said, well, I lied. And he said, well, why should I let you write the script then if you lied? And I said, because I'll do it for free. So he gave me 6 months to learn, and he taught me, and I wrote the script. And then suddenly this amazing thing happened. Madonna heard of the book and she wanted to make it her directorial debut. Everyone was excited. I was told this is going to be big news. It'll be in People's Magazine. And of course, she went off on tour and that was that for that. So anyway, these 4 books are my babies. They're really hard to find, and now you can get them all on any kind of e-reader, which is great. So you can support the indie stores, and you can read the books, and I hope you'll love them. And if you do, please let me know. And if you don't, you can let me know too. Thank you so much for listening.